Hello, Sagittarius. It's your turn for your reading. It was really weird because just a few minutes ago, I normally do my runaround thing where, well, not run around, but my clearing of a space. And it's not clearing too much of the space, just so I can clear the space, the energies. And so when I'm working with Sagittarius, I lit the sage and um, what is it called? Sage and citrus incense, and it was really weird because when I lit it, it started burning quick, but it was weird because it's like it split, and then I was trying to move a little piece of it, and apparently it got a little bit on my leg pants, my pajama leg pants, and it got a little bit on my bed sheet and uh, pillowcase. And I'm like, what the heck? Because I remember interacting or commenting on someone's post today and telling about, the whole thing about karma. And, I love this person as a friend. As far as I know, they're a Sagittarius. It gets to me because I've seen it too much in people's life and I've seen it in my life. I know everyone has, some people believe in the threefold laws and some people don't, that whatever you put out will come back to you threefold, and some people don't believe that. And I took it as a teaching experience when I was explaining, the things I've learned in my life when it comes to these three full laws. There's a reason why they're there, and it's not necessary to live by a certain expectation or certain standards. But I honestly feel like whatever you put out in the universe, that's what you will get back. And I don't know if necessarily I was messing with that type of entity or negative spirit around me or what. Or maybe it just happened to be a bad idea to use that incense because it was splitting and then spark and then got some of it started a little bit a hole and stuff, and I'm like, what the heck? So I don't know if she got mad. She never replied back to me, but I just personally feel like, because she posted something about karma, and one thing I've learned in my life, just from seeing and dealing with other people, is I've actually knew someone who hexed a few people. Like, they had a thing about hexing people if they're offended or hurt by people. And I just feel like if you're in that energy where you want bad karma to come on people, I mean, there's really no right or wrong on that. I just feel like if you're doing some type of binding spell on someone to not have control over you, or some type of practice or ritual or spell on someone, I just feel like it's kind of iffy if you do those kind of things without people's permission. Especially if it's a love spell. That's pretty much the asking, if you want someone to love you and be obsessed with you, you're kind of asking for it. So do be prepared if you're doing that kind of work. Be careful. Or if you're dealing with an ex and you want the ex to leave you alone, or you want the ex to be dished their karma. I just feel like, and I made a past video, and if this is your story, just watch one of my past videos about karma. It's not what people think it is. And I don't feel like anybody should take that lightly, but actually look into what real karma is. Because one of the statements that was talked in the post was karma is a bitch. Well, I disagree because I feel like it's not a punishment. And a lot of people look at it as like, be careful, karma will get you, karma's a bitch. But something I've learned, and I've heard someone use a phrase, that karma is not a punishment. It's pretty much cause and effect. If you want someone's life fucked up, in some way you're messing with their uh, not their karma, but you're messing with their energy without permission. And I just feel like the best thing you can do in a situation, if this is you, Sagittarius, is to let go of the control. Wanting someone to pay because they hurt you is ridiculous. And I just feel like for some Sagittarius, you need to grow up. I'm just going to be frank with that because I just feel like it's ridiculous. Now, I'm not saying in any way it's wrong to feel angry when people have hurt you, when people have abused you, when people neglected you, when people have treated you so poorly. To feel all these feelings of emotions, but I just feel like just let God or let the universe take care of people, because I feel like, you're putting out this negative energy, this negative vibe. And I feel like, especially if you have people looking up to you or people watching you, that's going to cause an effect on them, thinking, oh, just because someone treats me like crap, I get the right to, wish the worst on that person. When we can just pray about them, or we can just sincerely, heal from the situation. If it's that bad, if people caused us so much pain in life, it just shows that there's a part of us that still needs to heal. There's a wound that's being surfacing, like almost like a band-aid you're ripping off, that you need time to heal. And for the past months or so, I do feel like with Sagittarius that, I do have a midheaven in Sagittarius. So I kind of feel the energy. I do feel like Sagittarius, there's still things of the past that happen that are very painful for you and puts you in deep depression. But I'm here to say, as a friend, as a person that, do care about people, there's a lot of healing that you need to go through. And I feel like a lot of it, we project people to be a certain way to us, or we see people that have hurt us, and we want to pass judgment. We want them to feel the same type of pain that we felt, but in some way, what good is that at the end of the day? We're putting our time and energy into someone that could care less about us. So why do we give a damn about what happens to them and wanting them to feel the same type of pain? I just feel like you guys need to get over, and I'm not saying it in a lightly way, I'm just saying it in a very sincere way. You guys need to heal. You guys need to grieve. You guys need to see things for what they really are and understand that we're all connected. We've all done horrible things. We've all made mistakes. But I think it's an excuse when we live with the pains of the past and we become the victim, when that's just an illusion. We were in situations, I feel like we're all brought here on certain different paths and journeys to experience, whether it's abuse, whether it's neglect, whether it's fears, whether it's traumatic events in our lives. We're all here for a purpose. We're not here just to breathe air. And I feel like we have to own up to why we make mistakes. We have to own up to why did this happen to me, and realize what was my part. Everyone has a story. Everyone has a past that they go through. And I feel like it's through those most darkest, painful, horrific, traumatic events that really makes a person strong. And I feel like you're not really accepting the pain of it all. You're just stewing on the pain. You're neglecting yourself, I feel like, most of Sagittarius, because you've been in this energy for so long where the past has some way become toxic. And it's the life that when you came here on earth, and I'm not saying this in a disrespectful way, but when you came here on earth, you in some way were assigned to a certain way to live. You chose this life. Just like you chose your parents. Now, a lot of people don't say you don't choose your parents, but your soul does. Your soul chooses what kind of life you want to have. Now, sometimes a miracle can happen. I feel like a soul may need to end up somewhere just for a soul growth purpose and then leave when it's time to leave. But I'm really trying to help you here because I feel like some of you are really struggling. Negative thoughts, negative actions, negative things. And I'm trying to help you understand something I personally had to learn. I'm not a professional psychologist. I'm not a professional teacher or guru or anything. But I know for a fact that when we go through traumatic events, it's always going to be a part of us. But that doesn't mean it has to be our story. That doesn't mean it has to be our victim part of us that we have to carry on our own and realize that this is my life and this is how it is. But what we need to do is we need to clear that space of time. Reflect on the positive, but also realize that your soul needed to experience these painful, traumatic events for your growth. And a lot of people live in that victim and they don't realize, I'm actually here more than my victimhood. Like they carry on this badge of victimize, how many times they were victimized, but they don't even share it with the world. They don't share it with people that I escaped from this and you can escape from this. I was in a traumatic event. I could have died. But yet I lived again to tell the story. And I feel like Sagittarius, you need to tell your story. First of all, you need to be open and honest with yourself first and do the healing, do the work that you need to do to clear out this damage, this hate that you feel within you, and just clear it from your heart, clear it from your mind, and understand that you had to go through everything you went through to help someone who can relate to your situation. And that's why I feel like collectively we go through painful experience so we can heal collectively. It's not just a one-time deal. Like I mentioned in my other video, I wanted this to be a reading, but I feel like this is the reading that you guys need to hear. Like I mentioned in my other video, let's say you've been victimized as a child. Okay, and let's say it was from a parent or it's from someone you've known that you thought cared about you, but they used you in a way that is unmanageable. And I feel like personally, when you go through those moments, it's traumatic. It wounds you for life. It puts a scar on you. Whether it was abuse, whether it was sexually abused, whether it's something that you will never forget, and it's been very hard to get through. So you've been a victim for so long. Now whoever victimized you, in a past life it could have been completely different. They were the one being victimized and you were the one being a predator. And I'm not saying that in a way to discount what you've gone through and belittle your situation, but I think it's true to say that this lifetime you probably had to go through all that you've gone through because whoever victimized you in a past life, something happened where they're trying to balance your both soul is linked to each other to balance out each other's karma, per se. And it's really hard to look at someone that's hurt you, and I've been there with my ex. It's really hard to look at someone when you're in hate. You just want them to die. You just want them to not exist. But if you turn your focus just a little bit, Sagittarius, and you see that victim as if they were your brother and sister, and realize they too had a point of being victimized. They too